What's going on, fam? Let me cut this down some. How's everybody doing? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? I want to make sure that I can be heard clearly. If you can hear me, please put yes in the comment section for me, please. Because I want to make sure that I'm being heard, okay? If you like this song, you can hear this song right now by clicking on the link in my, come down a little bit more. By clicking the link in my bio here. Oh, not bio, I'm sorry. Description box. I'm thinking of Instagram. You can click on the description box below, and that is the actual instrumental that you hear in the background. Now, I did tweak it some. I kind of transposed it like down to, I think it's 2 keys, if I'm not mistaken, and I slowed it down just a little bit. You can hear me? Thank you. Hold on one second, y'all. Hold on. My bad, y'all. I just literally just got out the shower. I was trying to rush and hurry up. I made sure I cleaned myself thoroughly, though. That's why I'm a little bit late, so y'all please forgive me. But I hope that y'all enjoyed the music. Um, Before we go forward into reading chapter 1 of Ascension, and this is an analysis of the art of ascension as taught by I think it's Shires, if I'm not mistaken, by MSI. Now I'm gonna let y'all know right now, okay? I'm going to mess up some words, okay? So if I say something and it sounds like charge it to my head and not my heart, okay? Now I can read pretty good, but I do have those moments. And I do have a tendency to kind of talk a little fast, especially when I'm excited. So my words kind of slow together. So I ask that y'all please bear with me on this, okay? I'm learning just like you are, okay? Nobody is better than anybody. We are all equal in this situation, okay? So let me hit my pen real quick. Make sure that y'all get y'all something to help y'all relax. Um, this is going to be like a podcast style. Please forgive the face. I should have changed it, but I was too busy trying to get everything together. So um, you can listen to this on the replay, or if you're listening now, you can listen while you're doing something else, while you're cleaning or studying or kind of just thinking, you know. This live, I ask that going forward, that you just have an open mind and an open heart. It's okay to be resistant against some things. It's okay, because we still have old thought patterns and old habits that we do support. So resistance is okay. But also take into consideration and try it for yourself. The only way you will ever know if anything is true is if you do it through experience, because it'll be you going through it. And this book talks a lot about you. It talks about you. So when you listen to this, listen with an open mind and an open heart, and make it about you. When you're listening to this live and the future lives to come, make it about you. Think about yourself in these situations. Okay? And once again, this is just information. You don't have to take any of this. You have free will to do whatever it is that you want to do. And I would be a fool to try to take that away from you, because I don't want anyone to take that away from me, right? But I do want to share information and knowledge with you. And if any of it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, that's fine too. You are still covered in love. But if you are willing to know how to ascend, how to literally manifest heaven on earth now, to live your best life now, free of guilt, free of shame, free of judgment, and even though those things might bear themselves to you every once in a while, you won't succumb to them like you used to. Okay, so if you're ready to start your self-love journey, or if you're just, in the midst of it, you're kind of struggling a little bit and just need to be reminded of what to do. Not really what to do, but to, I guess, remind you of who you are, shall I say. We are here to remind each other of who we are, and we are gods and goddesses on the earth, expressed through this human experience. And we can live it any way we want to. And a lot of us lived our lives in a very unconscious way. And that's because we didn't know. We didn't have the information. But now we have it. And all I want to do is share that information with you. So give me one more second. I'm going to cut this music back up. I'm going to take me a few sips. I'm going to hit my pen real quick. This good sativa. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and get into chapter 1 of Ascension. Okay. One moment. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse me. I promise I tried to hold that cough in. I really did. Excuse me. So, without further ado, we are now dealing with chapter 1, solving the problems of the world. Are y'all ready? Let's get into it. To change the world, change yourself. To help this world be a better place must certainly be every thinking human's desire. Our planet is faced with innumerable problems, physical and spiritual. The attempts of our leaders to solve them seem neither wholly pathetic nor wholly laudable. They are doing the best they can. Even the apparent exceptions to this rule act positively, given the definitions of reality to which they ascribe. But as courageous as the noble attempts to solve Earth's problems have always been, and as successful as some of the solutions have proved to be in some limited areas of concern, still the overall depth, breadth, and intensity of the difficulties facing the world have only increased over the centuries until the existence of the biosphere and of humanity itself is today swinging in the balance. It was disastrous for and I believe it's the Carthaginians, I apologize, excuse me, when the Romans burned it to the ground. It was certainly unfortunate for the Israelites when Rome razed Jerusalem and sent her people into captivity. It was devastating to the Native Americans when the Europeans moved westward. But today, we seem determined to destroy the entire world. It was tragic when the Sahara swallowed the fertile fields of Africa due to human incompetence. But today, we lose a football-sized field of rainforest every second. Every year, an area of the rainforest the size of Pennsylvania is burned and converted to pasture, losing forever not only the wondrous potential pharmaceuticals growing there in their natural state, but simultaneously cutting the throat of the largest oxygen-producing organism in the world. We have all enjoyed the benefits of aerosols and cans and air conditioners. I know I do, okay? But the ozone deteriorates. It seems that soon being outside anywhere at any time of day will be deadly. Kind of sound familiar, don't it? I'm just saying. It was a great accomplishment when our miracle drugs dramatically reduced infants' deaths. But today, we have well over 300 million people elking out lives of barest substance without meeting the needs of minimal nutrition. 300 million of our fellow humans are malnourished or starving today. What did you have for dinner? Any solution designed to solve any of these problems or the myriad of others facing humanity is certainly good and should be encouraged. But it is not now and will never be sufficient to address the problems of the human condition one at a time, or even in groups of related problems at one time. We can link acid rain, ozone depletion, the ruining of our rivers, lakes, and seas with excuses and our technologies, but the basic issue will remain untouched by any such approach. The reason for this is simple. We can attempt to solve a vast number of problems, but the solutions will always cause more problems as long as we do not know the result of our actions. With limited mind, obstacles will come to mutate and evolve, as do bacteria in response to our latest miracle drug. A host of new and worse difficulties will continue to arise until the day we change the fundamental era of our thinking. There is a field next to this house when I'm writing these words. A year ago, it was a pasture where a dozen horses get grazed. Today, it holds 30 homes. Another 15 are scheduled for completion within the next 6 months. From the standpoint of the silent field, this must feel exactly like a cancerous growth. What utility do these houses have in relation to the land? Where once there was a mutual harmony of organic life, now there is concrete, asphalt, chaos, death. And yet the new residents living here are grateful for this relatively cheap housing. For many of these young families, this is their first escape from apartments into the grand experiment of private ownership. And in another 30 years, this will doubtless be a quiet, even a sedate neighborhood, with tall, stately oaks and maple lining the trees. I remember climbing up a huge old stump, twice as high as I was tall. Lord, I'm short, Jesus. 4 times as wide as it was high. Now, down the hill from the house where I grew up in Seattle, it was the middle of a 40-acre tract that we called the swamp. Now, this ground was not particularly swampy, at least not much more than anything of Seattle, but calling it the swamp added a certain dark mystery to young children. 50 years before I entered the swamp in awe and wonder, there was a magnificent stand of western red cedar and Douglas fir there. 100 years before that, the evergreens were so thick and tall all over western Washington that anyone magically transported there from today would think they had wandered into the most wonderful park on earth. What a tragedy from the perspective of the Native Americans. But our small tragedy when the swamp was razed and turned into the sterile asphalt of a parking lot and the plastic and steel of a shopping mall was no less tangible and painful for our childish sensibilities. And yet, the close proximity of these stores was viewed as a godsend for several senior citizens of our neighborhood. And I remember looking for an ancestral home with my family when I was 9. We could not find it. It was gone. A memory now only, replaced by one more freeway off-ramp. This in the middle of a wheat field in eastern Washington. A serious loss, surely. But those who use the freeway every day to hurry home to their families might disagree. So, what exactly is a problem? A great evil from one perspective may prove a blessing from another. But even if we can find some problems that everyone can agree in definitely problems, it does not follow that everyone will agree on the solutions. And even if everyone everywhere were to agree on the problem and the solution, there is no guarantee that the solutions would work. Now, even if everyone everywhere agreed beyond the slightest doubt that the sun circled the earth, our planet and our neighbor star would not likely to deviate from their orbits. Reality is not democratic. Regardless of how much we would like everyone to believe in our cherished dream worlds, it doesn't make them real for anyone other than our own selves. Don't assume I am implying that it is wrong to attempt to solve any and all problems. Everything that can be done should certainly be done. What I'm saying is that our solutions have never worked well because we as a species have never addressed the one fundamental problem that is causing all the others. How do we transform our actions so that they have only life supporting effects? Until this basic issue is addressed, it will never be possible to solve the myriad difficulties of the human condition. Now, how can this be done? One ideal person. If we look into diversity, we see only diversity. When we look outward through our eyes, we see an extremely complex and variegated world, I believe, excuse me. Trying to change this outer world is difficult or impossible by addressing any situation, one at a time. This is why corporations succeed. 100 individuals can do a great deal more than one alone. Even if that one is far more efficient and talented than any other of the 100, it is physically impossible for any one person to do 100 tasks at once. Thus, thus our hierarchical, oh Lord, thus our hierarchy structured. Thus our civilizations created. The individual employee may have little or no understanding of how his or her part is contributing to the whole. The private citizen may lack any comprehension of the nature of orderliness of his or her society, but this does not inhibit the effectiveness of the whole. How does any organization function smoothly, be it a cow, a company, or a country? Each member of the hierarchical structure of the organization must function well. The health of the organization is determined by the health of its individual members. This is universal law. Be our conversation about organs and their constituent cells, or civilizations and their constituent citizens. Who can save a heart if its cells are dying? Who can save a country if its citizens are degenerating? Now, this may all appear much too simplistic, much too obvious, and yet wholly impossible to change. Of course, you may say, your point is clear. If we want to solve the world's problems, we must solve the problems of the individual. There is nothing novel there. Confucius in ancient China said much the same thing. When the father is a father and the son a son, when the brother is a brother and the sister a sister, when the husband is a husband and the wife a wife, then the family is set in order. When the family is set in order, the village is set in order. When the village is set in order, the nation is set in order. When the nation is set in order, the world is set in order. This is all too obvious. If I am healthy in my body, my mind, and my spirit, then you imply my society will be healthy. If I don't contribute to the world's problems, then the world's problems will cease. But what you offer is just too simplistic. Even if I act perfectly, what of my brother George? Or my husband Sam? What about my kids? Or Fred down the street? Or the big corporations? Or the banks and savings and loans? Or the military industrial complex? Or terrorists? Or whatever else happens to be on my bad list at the moment? They'll still be damaging the world just as before. Of what value, then, your solution? It is impossible to apply this thinking globally. Now listen, indeed, I must agree with you. The thought of changing everyone on the planet to become ideal, a person who does nothing to damage either himself, herself, or the world in any way, even the slightest, is a concept that sounds too difficult to achieve in any reasonable amount of time. Even identifying others is a matter of limitless, I'm sorry, even identifying which of our daily actions and, excuse me, even identifying which of our daily actions are in fact damaging to ourselves or others, thank you, is a matter for limitless controversy. The simplest choice presented to each of us at most grocery store checkout counters makes the insoluble riddles of antiquity seem like child's play. Paper or plastic? The clerk asks us sweetly. What do we reply? Kill a tree or use a non-renewable, non-biodegradable resource? Which do you choose? I mean, does it matter to yourself or to your world? Is it even worth considering, or is it a momentary and essentially pointless diversion? The root difficulty with the typical waking state of consciousness is that it is impossible to know anything with certainty. It is not now, nor will it ever be possible to know all the effects of an action, of any action, even the most basic. Why not live a life of compromise? Everyone sacrifices integrity on the altar of convenience, so why be any different? This is the issue that has led many of our philosophers to conclude that there is no absolute standard of morality or action. This dilemma has caused many others never to question, but to let other authority figures dictate their actions and beliefs. Without an absolute standard, such leaders may or may not have anything worthwhile to say, but many of them have at least demonstrated a certain skill in convincing others to listen to them. It may seem impossible to change everyone in the world. Fortunately, and this is the good part, y'all, fortunately, that is not your responsibility. It is not your responsibility to change your countrymen, not your neighbors, not your friends, not even your own family. You have the responsibility to change just one person in the entire universe. Do you know who this all-important person is? Do you know who has created and maintains your private universe? The good news and the terrible news is exactly the same. It is you. The one controller of your life and fate is you. No one other than you. You have made it exactly as you willed. Perhaps your choices were unconscious until today. Perhaps you did not know any better before. But those days are over now. Since you have done it, you can do it over in any way you choose. There may be others working to help everyone else change, but that need not be your concern. You don't have to see all the plan. You don't have to understand its whole operation. You don't even have to know exactly how your part fits into the whole. It isn't necessary. All you have to do is live your own part perfectly, and your world will transform around you. Now, that is guaranteed, absolutely guaranteed. If the light within you is not dark, the shadows will fly from your world. Now, how impossible a task saving the world. How possible a task saving yourself. Let me say that one more time. How impossible a task saving the world. How possible a task saving yourself. Cleanse your own heart, and the world's heart will be cleansed. The waking state perception of the universe is completely reversed, upside down. In the waking state, we commonly think that our effect is greater when we act outward. We think that our actions are stronger than our words, and our words are stronger than our thoughts. Therefore, for example, we do not speak our resentments, but hold it inside, festering until it erupts in attacks far greater than the original action we did not take, or until it kills us. This way of living is backwards. It is destructive. It cures nothing and complicates everything. One human's thoughts can change a world. To be healed, the world does need one ideal person. And this person has already been born. This person has a name and a personal history. The birth date of this person it's yours. The personal history is yours. This person's name is yours. The ideal person is you. We affect more than we can possibly know. With every mood, every thought, every word, every gesture, we change our lives and our universe. That was chapter 1, y'all. And to me, that kind of felt a little fast. Did that feel kind of fast to y'all? Now, y'all please forgive my hiccups, because I already told y'all, if y'all just coming into the stream, I'm going to hiccup, okay? We're going to have some Andrew Caldwell moments. Trust me, we're going to have a lot of that. So I'm just letting you know, get ready for it. But see, this book is about living your authentic life. And if stumbling on words is going to come, that's fine. Just live your best life. So my question is this. These chapters, at least these first oh, wow. Wow. Matter of fact, you know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm going to ask y'all. Chapter 2 and chapter 3 are very, very, very short. Do y'all want chapter 2 and 3 now? Because I was going to try to do chapter 1. So if y'all want chapter 2 and chapter 3, I'm fine, because this is what I love to do anyway. This is what I do when I'm off YouTube. I study, and I'm really trying to apply this stuff to my life. I'm not trying to just, like a lot of people do, and no judgment to them, but I'm just saying what I'm not doing anymore. We just hold the knowledge in and we'll share it and think it's cute and yeah, it hits your spirit. But the universe is going to present opportunities where you're going to have to put that into action. And a lot of us are afraid to do that because we have a lot of us have a fear narrative. We're afraid of what's going to happen because we think about the past. And it's like we have the power to change our lives for real. And call me crazy, but I'm for the rest of my life, I'll be this crazy then. Call me crazy, but I'm going to live my best life. Like I said, I am going to be 31 on the 22nd of this month. The universe didn't have to see me through this. Well, actually it does, but let me rephrase that, y'all. I didn't have to see me through this. Back in 2018, like I told y'all, I could have took myself out. I was going to take myself out. Y'all would not know BubzDaGawd right now. So everything is in divine order. It's about realizing that. So y'all say, okay, we got Megan. Megan said, yes, give us more. Shout out to everybody who came in. Shout out to Megan. Shout out to Roki. Shout out to Spicy. Shout out to Angela in here. Shout out to Brenda. Shout out to Amber. Like, shout out to everybody who was here, everybody who's staying, everybody who's coming through the peak, people who catching the replay. Shout out to y'all. Like, look, I'm just living my best life, y'all, and I'm just sharing information because information will change your life, okay? And I realize there are some people who are ready for change, who won't change, who've been asking for change, baby, and here it is, okay? Take what is yours and leave the rest, okay? Let me go ahead and turn this water up while I go ahead and get some of this water in again, okay? 1 second. Okay, y'all, I had to go ahead and hit my pen again. Excuse me. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it to y'all because look, I'm here doing what I can, okay? Because people done it for me. Before I came into this world, people were thinking, they didn't even know me personally, but they were thinking about someone like me. And I'm thinking for everybody who wants it, even those who don't want it, who may not be in the place to fully receive it now, they still covered, because just like me, I was ignorant. I didn't know any better. And now that I know better, I do better. And I just want to share the information in love, no judgment. Because at the end of the day, you going to do you, and I ain't going to argue with you about that, okay? Because I've come to the conclusion that only I can change my own life. And now that I realize that, baby, listen, okay? Come on, Brent, talking about incense and lint. Incense and lint. Lord, I told y'all Andrew Caldwell. Yes, I got incense. I actually have a Sacred Heart of Jesus incense burning for Terrence, and I have a white candle for him. I went on and bought a candle, so I'm lighting the candle for him. Rest in power, Terrence. He was one of my hardcore supporters. Whenever I did a live on Instagram or YouTube, he always came in. He shared so much love and light with people. I didn't even know he had a relationship with Queen D from TTB. Shout out to her. Her heart is very, very heavy. Like, she's been crying and stuff like that because it's like it came out of nowhere. So, but at least we know that he's in a better place and he's loved, okay? He is loved, and he created amazing, wonderful memories. And that's all we can do. Like, all we can do is live life and create memories. And for me, I just want to make sure that my memories are good, that my memories help other people, because that's what you do. Like, that's how your legacy lives on, in love. So, because it's a lot of low vibrating stuff happening in the world, and trust me, I'm not trying to scare people, but I'm being honest. It's only going to get darker. But see, it always gets darker before the dawn. You know what I'm saying? So as we go into more of these chapters, we're going to delve a little bit deeper. So, just go ahead and be open-minded. If you feel a little ouch, a little ouchy, you just stepped on my toes. Because trust me, some of these chapters, I was like, oh, Jesus, I thought I was doing good, Lord. We all doing good, but we can always do better. We're going to always be going against the ego. So, okay. Yes. Light your candles. Okay. I got my gold candle over here burning for my wisdom and stuff. Okay, yes. And I'm amongst this is what I'm talking about. This is what I like. I'm amongst family. I'm amongst the shorties. Oh my God, this is amazing. This is so amazing. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to chapter 2, okay? Chapter 2. Changing life. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. I'm so damn extra. Again, if you like this instrumental, you can click on my description box below and you can go to the YouTube channel and subscribe. Like, he has some amazing meditation instrumentals. Like, this is SWV, Use Your Heart, on a loop, and I kind of just altered it a little bit, just for copyright reasons. But support that channel, please. Okay. Chapter 2. Changing life. Our vision and understanding of the human condition is cultured by our experience. In the waking state of consciousness, we think we are isolated in space and time from one another. We think we are separate and alone. Because this is our perception and belief, we conclude that it is difficult or impossible to influence others' thinking or behavior deeply. We believe that it is only with great expenditures of energy, time, and commitment we can succeed in changing others. This belief results from the daily experience of our senses, but our senses deceive us here as everywhere. The reality of our being is that we can absolutely effortlessly change not only ourselves, but also everyone else on the planet, past, future, or present. Now, if this idea appears strange, it is only because we are accustomed to thinking of ourselves as linear and finite beings with strictly circumscribed abilities and functions. If we think of great-souled members of our race, We often think their actions are their accomplishments, but their true accomplishments are the inner realities they have developed. Their outer actions are a merely. The material may be very fine, the pattern exquisitely beautiful, the colors deep and clear, but any cloth is utterly without value compared to the priceless body wearing it. The race evolves as the collective consciousness of the race evolves. The beliefs of the human race are like the bell curve so common in mathematics. The leading edge of all change begins with a single individual. At first, the fact that the change is happening at all may be unknown to practically everyone, but it grows more and more rapidly with time. From the first person, it spreads naturally to everyone. This process is automatic. If the individual responsible for introducing the change chooses to engage in action to help promote it, this is not required. That would be a generous redundancy. Our thoughts are not hidden away inside us. We commonly believe they are. We believe and hope some thoughts and beliefs are somehow private, are somehow secret from the rest of the universe. This is an illusion. Every thought affects everyone and everything everywhere at all times. Because of this, it becomes absurdly easy to change the world. We need only change one person. If I change me, everyone will benefit. The greatest gift you can give those you love is the example of your own life working. Girl, can we Ricka bring that back? The greatest gift you can give those you love is the example of your own life working, okay? Now, even if you cannot accept the full range of possibility represented by this concept, that your improvement improves everyone else, still, there can be no question that you certainly must desire to improve your own life for your own sake. The fortunate truth is that this is not hard to do. In fact, it is extremely easy. Anyone who declared it hard to improve was undoubtedly speaking from his or her own experience, but that experience must have had as a premise the belief that beneficial change is difficult. The reality of the human condition is that beneficial change is extremely easy as long as there is competent guidance. There is no problem, okay? No problem, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, that cannot be solved effortlessly. The techniques of ascension are designed to assist in the healing process from the inside out. We commonly believe that some problems are larger than others, that some are more difficult or more complex than others. But every problem is the same from the standpoint of infinite intelligence. They only seem different from the perspective of limited minds. Every problem in life can be solved in exactly the same way. And that solution is effortless to achieve. It is not now, never has been, and never will be difficult to live more of infinite intelligence. Rather, it is not now, never has been, and never will be difficult to live infinite intelligence fully and completely. The first step towards this goal lies in recognizing the possibility of doing it. The first step toward this goal, the most important step toward this goal, lies in just recognizing the possibility of doing it. If we don't believe something is possible, it will remain impossible for us. Now, once we realize it is possible to be more, the desire to be more will naturally take hold of our minds. The second step lies in acknowledging where we are right now. The second step lies in acknowledging where we are right now. Most of us are in the habit of denying what we are experiencing here and now. This is probably because we have judged our present circumstances as being in some way undesirable. Our lives or our environment or the people in our universe are not viewed as being perfect. And we typically have a long list of facts that prove this set of perceptions and beliefs. Shit, Mary is too fat. John drinks too much. Steve is cruel to me and beats me. I need to be making more money to pay my bills. My job is okay, but it is not what I really enjoy doing. Our neighborhood is going downhill. I'm sick, etc. The list are endless. Any perception or judgment that someone or something about our world is imperfect is a part of our conclusion that our life is not ideal. Most of us make the best of our inadequate and far from perfect world, doing the best we can to move ahead in spite of circumstances, even though we didn't marry whom we really wanted, or we don't have the job we desired, or don't make enough money, or we don't live where or how we wish, or we are not particularly happy or healthy. Often our response to our perceived shortcomings is to repress our dissatisfaction. Does it sound a little familiar? Frequently, we do this to make our lives, or like I was doing, or someone else's life easier. We feel that agreeing with others' opinions is better than cultivating our own. Now, there was once a beautiful young woman named Leora who was bright, intelligent, and highly gifted in the arts. She married Sam and had 2 children. Now, Sam was extremely opinionated about most things. In his case, this was due to an inherent inferiority he experienced around everyone. He felt others would take advantage of him or try to control him if he didn't strike first. Exposed to Sam's continual and intense opinions, Leora's native intelligence gradually lessened. She began to feel that a good wife was one who supported her husband blindly in all things. She became his servant rather than his equal. In all matters, great and small, Leora's voice and reason were an echo of Sam's opinions. In time, Sam grew bored with Leora's mindless behavior and ran off with another woman who challenged him to think. Leora was crushed and deeply surprised. Hadn't she done everything she could to please him? Desperately longing to be in a relationship, any relationship, sound like me, oh, I'm reading myself. She soon found another man, one whom to this day treats her exactly the same way Sam did. She could have tuned the unfortunate loss of her first husband into an exploration of why her life was as it was. Instead, she continued with her fundamental mistake and is paying the price for it still. This is a frightfully common set of experiences in our modern world. The parent-child relationship is another common version. Now, we as children are for years utterly subservient to our parents' will. Our parents are as God to us. If they are themselves incomplete individuals, our gods are insane. The effect of this when we enter the adult world is unconsciously to choose to live a life vastly different from the one we would have chosen had we been encouraged to develop our own natural tendencies and talents. We tend to internalize the voices and beliefs of our oppressors, even after the external agent of our subservience is removed by distance or death. We still cower behind their image, unwilling or incapable of being ourselves. To change, it is helpful to acknowledge where we are right now. To change, it is helpful to acknowledge where we are right now. This can be an effortless process, a simple intellectual recognition, but for some, so many layers of confusion and delusion about who we are and what we believe stand between us and this recognition. It can take some time and patience, trust me. Listen, okay? Baby. Acknowledgement does not mean simply changing one belief system for another. Let me say that again. Acknowledgement does not mean simply changing one belief system for another. A common element of the typical religious conversion is that our will is replaced, not by God's will, but by someone or some group's interpretation of God's will. This is yet another version of the master slave scenario, so common among abusive husbands or wives and abusive parents. And what the forefathers did to Black people, I'm just saying. This is never conducive to individual freedom or growth. Mental subservience in followers is desired only by incomplete souls attempting to control their universe to protect their flawed and fearful views of reality. Baby, can I say that again, please? Mental subservience in followers is desired only by incomplete souls incomplete souls, okay? Attempting to control their universe to protect their flawed and fearful view of reality. A true teacher will always desire his or her students to become self-sufficient, to master the teacher's knowledge so that the teacher is no longer necessary. All true teachings then always point the finger of understanding back at the student's own heart. All true teachings then always point the finger of understanding back at the student's own heart. Only from the inside out can real growth occur. Now, this process of acknowledgement extends much more deeply into the personality than most individuals have ever consciously gone. One of the most effective ways to do this is through the Ashayas, and once again, this is the Ashaya's Ascension. So once again, if you want to follow the Ashayas, you can, but also they offer this information for you to, once again, find for yourself. They're not saying to follow them as a religion, but to use what they're doing as a foundation for you to build upon, okay? So I just wanted to put that there, all right? Now, in the process of ascension techniques, right, a specific and highly individualized thought is created by the teacher working with the student as a vehicle to ride inward to the source of all thought, the ascendant. When an individual ascends, it becomes unnecessary to try to undo the previous beliefs and judgments. The power of this wholly beneficial inward process is sufficient to remove all previous false perceptions and understandings and replace them with a direct experience of the transcendental beauty and perfection of the ascendant within. When the inner reality is thus acknowledged, the outer realities automatically change. When the inner reality is thus acknowledged, the outer realities automatically change. In other words, it is not necessary to try to restructure our habits, our beliefs, or any aspect of our minds. It is not necessary ever to berate ourselves for our supposed shortcomings and failures. Once begun, the process of internal transformation and reorganization is completely automatic. A leaf does not have to be taught how to fall to the ground. Once it is removed from its habitual lodging, it falls. The invincible force of natural law, gravity, pulls it effortlessly to the ground. The earth is much larger than the leaf. There is no necessity for the leaf to try to fall. Indeed, it would take effort for the leaf not to fall. Similarly, with the mind, the invincible attractive force of the ascendant is pulling constantly on our minds. It is requiring excessive use of force to keep from falling inward into the ascendant. This is why minds tire so easily. This is why bodies require so much sleep every night. Without a suitable vehicle, how hard is it to move? But if the car is running and full of gas, how simple it is to exert a tiny force on the pedal. And away we go. Without a suitable vehicle, how hard is it to move into the mind? But with a proper ascension technique, and once again, this is just information they're giving you, okay? Called the ascension technique. How simple it is to choose to ascend, and away we go. Now watch yourself closely. What is your response when you think of moving deeper inside, okay? And I think I'm going to put a pin in that real quick. I'm going to ask y'all that and put it in the comments if y'all still here. What is your response when you think of moving deeper inside? What comes to mind? I don't care if it's something freaky. What comes to mind when you heard that? What did the first thing that popped in your heads? And I want y'all to put in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and sip on this water real quick because we at the end of chapter 2 going into chapter 3. So I'm going to give me like 15 seconds. I want y'all to put it down in the comments. Yeah. Okay, we good now. Okay. Let's go ahead and finish chapter 2 out. Is it eager anticipation coupled with an intense desire to learn what is really there? Or is it fear, unreasoning blind terror of the dragons lurking within? Both are common responses to the suggestion. The first is a clear experience of what naturally occurs when we let go, ascend, and grow more fully into life. The second is a clear experience of what naturally occurs when we try to stop ourselves from growing more fully into life. Y'all, that was chapter 2. And the book that I'm reading is called Ascension by MSI. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and type that down in the comments. Book. 1 second. Ascension by MSI. This is the book. Shout out to Megan, because I didn't know Megan was a prophet over here talking about we should do a book club thing. I think this might be a book if y'all want to go ahead and read it along with me. Even if you don't want to wait for me. If you like, okay, Bubs, I need this book. I need to get it for myself. Get the book. Like I said, knowledge is power. And like I said, what I do off of YouTube is I study to show myself approved. I came to the conclusion that can't nobody save me. Can't nobody change my life but me. And I spent the majority of my 20s, and the universe was using personal romantic relationships to get my attention. I was using relationships as a way to, once again, like I said in these previous chapters, to put all that energy onto someone else and to make it their responsibility. And that's a dangerous thing, because there are people who don't put their self-love first. We're taught to put other people outside of us because, once again, we've been taught that the outside world needs to validate us. We work from the outside in instead of inwardly first. But I got it now. Okay, what Monique said, I ain't like it before, but I like it now. Okay, so thank you, Megan. Thank you. I told y'all, and that's why I'm gonna say that's why I love y'all. Okay, that's why I love y'all, because I still be, once again, we human, so we still critique ourselves. Like, once again, me reading helping me to slow down when I speak. There are some words that I'll be like, I don't know this word, but we gonna skip past it. That's all right. You know what I'm saying? Now, had I recorded this, I probably would have researched how these words are enunciated and stuff, and probably would have done better. But since we live, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I still got it though. Okay, I'm just saying, despite everything, I still got it. All right, so once again, I'm gonna take me one more sip of water, okay, and then we're gonna move forward into the last chapter for tonight, which is emotions. Now, emotions, before we get into that, is very powerful. That is one place that a lot of us are afraid to tap into. Of course, our minds, but more so our emotions. And emotions literally means energy in motion. And energy is meant to give and to receive, not to hold in. And a lot of times when we hold in energy, especially a lot of low vibrational energy, it can become very toxic to the body. And a lot of diseases and illnesses and ailments occur because of this. But once again, like I said, there's power. We have power to change our own lives. And once we start doing that and seeing that, baby, can't nobody tell you what love is. And that's why I say love is important. That's why I speak love and apply love to myself as much as I can, and in every experience that I can, even if it's not well received, even if it's hated. That's okay. I know who I am. And this is what we're going to have to do. Like, we're getting to a place where all the veils, all the illusions, all the masks, like, we can't hide it anymore. We can't. We didn't play the game too long. And the universe is asking us, whatever you want to call it, God, source, universe, whatever you worship. If it's a maple tree, okay, maple tree, shout out to the maple tree, okay? Whatever you worship, whatever you believe, as long as it's in a high vibrating manner, I say do it, believe it, encourage it, and spread that love. Because love covers everything. I'm telling you, love is inclusive. Love is the reason why we're still here. And like I did in my earlier live, we talked about what the lack of self-love does. It's very destructive. So remember, you always have power. So y'all go ahead and enjoy this instrumental. Again, you can click on the description box below, and you can go to the YouTube channel for the background instrumental. This one sounds a little different because, once again, I altered it. That's what I like to do as far as creatively, to kind of alter it, make it like a chopped and screwed lo-fi version. So But I do suggest that you go to their YouTube channel, shout out to them, subscribe to their channel, and use that for your meditations. They got Tupac in a type of meditative thing. They got the song called Prototype by Outkast, especially at the end. I love that part. They turned that into a loop. Like, I just love how creative people are, and I don't mind sharing it. So, all right, y'all, I'm gonna get my sip of water, and y'all go ahead and enjoy the music. All right, y'all ready for chapter 3, emotions? It's just emotions taking me over. Ooh, that last part was not good. It's all right. Chapter 3, emotions. And it starts off, I believe, with a quote. Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life star, hath had elsewhere its setting, and cometh from afar. Not in entire forgetfulness, and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come, from God who is our home. Heaven lies about us in our infancy. Shades of the prison house begin to close upon the growing boy. But he beholds the light, and whence it flows, he sees in his joy the youth who daily further from the east must travel, still is nature's priest, and by the vision splendid is on his way attended. At length the man perceives it die anyway, a fade into the light of common day, as if his whole vocation were endless imitation. And this is by Wordsworth, Imitations of Immortality. Baby, I ain't gonna hold you. I ended up hitting that sativa, and I kind of struggle with understanding that, but that's all right. That's all right, because we all grown. We don't know everything. I don't know everything. I'm here to learn, okay? So we're starting off with emotions, and it starts off with the root of stress. Y'all ready to talk about stress? Are y'all ready to unload the stress that we have been carrying on our shoulders, trying to do the best that we can? But even though we're doing the best that we can always do better, baby. And the good thing about it is that it don't have to be difficult if we don't want to. That's the thing that I'm learning. To walk by faith. Walking by faith literally means, baby, I'm letting go and believing the best for myself, and I'm going to live life because it already happened. It's the more you go deeper, the more you understand, okay? So, the root of stress. Our physical bodies come about from the union of a sperm cell produced by our fathers and an egg cell created by our mothers. This made the bodies, but not the dwellers in the bodies. More than one ancient system of thinking agrees with Wordsworth. The soul enters human life from the omniscient wisdom. If this is so, there is nothing not known to the soul's guardians and to the pre-infant about the lifetime that is being entered. There is nothing not known about the parents, the siblings, the society that awaits. The soul chooses a particular lifetime because it knows that existence will resonate most effectively with its unfulfilled desires and will provide it with all that it needs to move closer to complete realization. Baby, that hit me in my spirit when I felt that part. Because ain't it weird that at this point in time, y'all, that you are aware, like Megan is aware of Megan at this time. Aries is aware of Aries. Spicy is aware of Spicy. Brenda is aware of Brenda. Roki isn't aware of Roki. Like Amber is, like we're all aware of ourselves in this time. And it's so crazy how it said once again, let me read that part again. The soul chooses a particular lifetime, okay? And a lifetime to be aware of what's going on. That's crazy. A particular lifetime because it knows before it even enters this reality and deals with the human side that has to deal with the past, present, and future, right? It knows that existence will resonate most effectively with its unfulfilled desires and will provide it with all that it needs to move closer to complete realization. Now think about that. In the midst of your life and all of the I'm gonna say it, shit that I'm trying to be professional because I'm reading the book. Y'all know how my mouth is. The shit that you've been through in your life. Think about that. Your soul already knew what was going to happen before it happened. And the soul just had to deal with the human experience of that. And the human experience is the part where a lot of us, including myself, we can get stuck in at times. The emotional part, the human side of us that deals with the five senses that make up our reality, make up our thought patterns, our habits, and the way that we express ourselves in the world. Like even me, because of what I've been through, I'm naturally, well, I've learned how to enjoy it. But at the time, I became more introverted. I became more, I wouldn't say reclusive, but more reserved within myself. Even now, I still am. But I see the importance in that in reference to learning that I have to learn to be okay with myself first before anybody else can be okay with me. If I can't be okay with me, I can't go out there and do that. No, it's too much confusion, too much hurt, pain, and bleeding all that out on other people. We need people in the world who are balanced, who are aware, and can come in being a light, loving themselves first so that they can love other people despite people using them and abusing them and not taking it personal deep down because you realize who you are and the power that you have and you walk in that authority, baby. When you walk in that authority, I'm telling you, life changes, okay? And it just gets better and better and better. What did MC Deborah say? And again, and again, and again, a new cut, a new color. We're going to be growing, okay? Amen. So I just want to put that there. Now, from this perspective, the first problem most or all infants face is that behind the mask of the physical mother and father is the memory of the divine mother and divine father, the male and female halves of God. Okay? As newly returned infants, we identify our biological parents with these flawless beings, deep inside. We know full well exactly what is and what is not perfection. We know that we desire only love and support from our physical parents and the world. And we are frustrated and disappointed again and again as our earthly parents fail again and again to match our eternal ideal. As an inevitable result, we grow to mistrust our parents and their world. Since most, if not all of us, are severely deprived of a perfect representation of divine love on earth, we have an emptiness inside that cries to be filled. This initial disappointment is one of the fundamental foundations of ignorance, and one that begins so early and is so subtle it can be extremely difficult to eradicate. Let me read that again. This initial disappointment is one of the fundamental foundations of ignorance, and one that begins so early and is so subtle it can be extremely difficult to eradicate. Most of us, finding only marginal support from our parents or our environment for our emotions, learned to repress them. A typical young child has no problem expressing his or her feelings. This openness frequently is not acceptable to the adults present because of their own inhibitions. They react with condemnation of the child, with rejection or punishment. Children have no defenses against this. Again, children have no defenses against this. If free and open expression leads to undesirable consequences, there is nothing to do but repress feelings and desires. These attempts to protect the personality result in shutting down innocent and expanded awareness. These attempts to protect the personality result in shutting down innocence and expanded awareness. In time, children become completely lost in their defenses as they create environmentally supported roles. If we were to deny support for our desires as children, we may turn to covert manipulation or outright hostility as the only effective means of fulfilling our wishes. The unfulfilled needs from our childhood continue to manifest in our adult relationships. Lacking the ability to communicate our desires clearly, we nevertheless still carry around a host of unfulfilled longings from the past. Do we ask for something as if we expect not to get it? Do we resort to anger or manipulation to fulfill our desires? Do we pout and throw temper tantrums or become cruel if we don't get our way? Do we wait until someone becomes close to us to reveal our hidden agenda? These are obviously not the most effective ways to achieve our ends, and yet they are among the most common ways attempted. Many adults are firmly locked away from true intimacy. The attempt to fill this emotional vacuum can lead to addictive or compulsive behavior patterns, drugs, alcohol, tobacco, food, illness, to relationships, ooh, ouch, 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 negative or positive, or ideally, to the growth of consciousness. Many adults' sense of self-worth is lacking or damaged in some way. One way we try to maintain the mirage of our self-worth is by criticizing others before they can see what is wrong in us. One way, you better read MSI, one way we try to maintain, yes, let me make sure I read it verbatim. One way we try, yes, to maintain the mirage of our self-worth is by criticizing others before they can see what is wrong in us. Or, since in the waking state, self-worth is defined almost entirely in terms of the response from the environment, we rely on others to define our lives. This is like putting a band-aid on, a festering ulcer. This never leads to lasting happiness or health. Compromising ourselves to be loved and lovable never has and never will make us more worthwhile. Baby, read. Compromising ourselves to be loved and lovable never has and never will make us more worthwhile. Now, continued for a long enough time, this behavior pattern is certain to generate resentment and hostility. The more we deny our own individuality, the more our own power is lost. Another example of inappropriate expression of feelings is what many consider compassion. If someone is suffering or unhappy, we think that compassion says we should join him, her in his or her misery. This is not compassion. This is not truly loving or caring. Instead of having one lying on the floor crying, now there are two. Responding to another's suffering as if it were our own is not empathy. It is only expressive of our own limitations of spirit. Taking on another's feelings as if they were our own is not compassion. This is not the doorway to intimacy and is doomed to failure, for this is not the path of growth. True compassion means raising the level of consciousness of the sufferer by recognizing that the suffering is misplaced, that it is an impossible event in alignment, and then by sharing this vision. Now, this is not done in a condescending or superior manner. This is done with perfect love, okay? The blockage of true feelings is quite deep and strong in many adults. The left hemisphere controlled ego mind of the waking state has learned to judge feelings as uncomfortable, something to be repressed, controlled, tightly channeled. Of course, since the human personality is extraordinarily flexible, that which is forced down in one area manifests in another. Feelings can never be destroyed, okay? Again, feelings can never, what's up, Aaron? Hey. Feelings can never, ever be destroyed. They can only be acknowledged, expressed, lovingly rechanneled, or repressed. Fully living in the present means that no feelings are ever repressed or desires perverted. All are accepted, expressed, and fulfilled. Once again, fully living in the present means that no feelings are ever repressed or desires perverted. All are accepted, expressed, and fulfilled. Now, releasing our blocked and buried feelings is one of the most important aspects of the evolution from the waking state. Unless the destructive behavior patterns and beliefs we absorbed from our parents and our childhood environment are allowed to dissolve, they will continue to warp every area of adult behavior. The emotional life is like a mighty river flowing inside us all. When we attempt to dam up a river, the water no longer circulates freely. It stagnates or seeks other means of release. Just as a dam breaking can cause great damage, just so repression of the feelings turn into emotions and into something destructive, a threatening force. We owe it to ourselves to discover what our feelings and desires really are. It is necessary to stop manipulating ourselves or others to fulfill our needs. Honest and open expression alone allows us to channel the power of our emotions positively. Instead of demanding, we must learn to share our true feelings. This enables us not to be a victim of our own uncontrolled defenses and reactions. It is necessary for us to learn to be our own cosmic parents. Through wisdom and benevolence, we can lovingly recognize and subtly direct our desires without trying to dam them up and struggle with them. This need not be difficult. It could all be so simple. Now, as we begin to open the stresses of our past relationships to the light, we naturally begin to recognize the source of our feelings, projections, and behaviors. One of the first results is a true forgiveness of our parents' limitations. Blaming them for being incomplete souls is almost as much of a waste of time as it is continuing to remain stuck in reactive behavior patterns. Of course, they were not ideal. Come on, y'all. Who in the world is? Now we moving on to love and fear. Y'all ready, baby? Love and fear. Amen. Love and fear. There are only two roots to our emotions. I'm sorry, excuse me. Remix, bring it back. There are only two roots to all of our emotions: love and fear. Love is the natural state of human life. Fear is the means the ego uses to control and possess the world. They cannot simultaneously coexist. When love increases, fear evaporates. Since it was never real, it vanishes in the sun of perfect love. When fear increases, love hides and bides its time until the individual opens again to truth. It can never be destroyed, but since the human is endowed with certain inalienable rights, including perfect free will, if the ego insists on illusions, love will as if disappear from the mind until the personality chooses again for reality. The ego wants to, I'm sorry, I was all in your face. The ego, sorry. Lord, what was that? Okay, we good. Sorry. The ego wants to own everything. This denies the invincibility of surrender, the handmaiden of love. Love is universal and freely given, yet the ego insists that it be owned, that it obeys the ego's stern dictations of when, how, and where. Dictations, girl, let's remix that. That it obeys the ego's stern dictates of when, how, and where. I don't know what Andrew Caldwell by. In this, the ego will forever fail, for it is fighting the wrong battle. Love can never be limited or exist in separation or isolation. Only by renunciation of the desire to manipulate and control will the ego melt into the universal self of infinite, eternal love. It is not by attempting to force feelings to change that they change. Emotions evolve only when they are accepted. Oh, girl, we stopped. Hold on. I gotta bring it back. Hold on. Bring it back. Okay, let's go again. Sorry. Thank you, Maestro. Appreciate it. Thank you. Now, where was I at? Woo, 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 woo. Okay. Only by renunciation of the desire to manipulate and control will the ego melt into the universal love of infinite eternal love. It is not by attempting to force feelings to change that they change. Emotions evolve only when they are accepted exactly as they are. The key to doing this is to stop judging them. Only the ego defines good and bad. This is its primary tool of control. If some desires are good and some are not, life is going to remain split. By separating our feelings from the ego's belief systems, we can use this powerful energy for personal growth. There is a story from the Ishayas that illustrates this point. The monks were attacked from time to time by hordes of demons when they were deep in meditation. No matter how hard they worked to be free from them, there was no escape. It was only when they stopped judging them as evil that they would vanish or transform into celestial nymphs or angels. It was only the monks' interpretation of reality that was giving them trouble. This recognition is a necessary stage of evolution. As consciousness grows, we learn that whatever comes to us is our own creation, none others. Bring it back. As consciousness grows, we learn that whatever comes to us is our own creation, none others. With the dawn of this understanding, we stop wasting our energy fighting, resenting, or repressing what we created. This enables us to use the energy of our desiring to accomplish much faster growth. Now we're moving on to the one part excerpt in this chapter, girl, that a lot of us are afraid to face, baby. And you got to face it. But once you realize what it is, I'm telling you, once again, me telling you this and sharing my experience and reading this, baby, will do you no justice if you don't experience it. You got to experience it. The shadow. Inside every human being, there is a general division of function between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. Of the brain. It's Kevin there. How you doing? Green potatoes, mashed potatoes. Okay, let me read that again. Inside every human being, there is a general division of function between the left and the right hemispheres of the brain. The left is more rational, logical, mathematical, scientific. The right is more instinctive, intuitive, emotional, spatial, artistic, creative. This hemisphere is in general more developed in the female of the species. The woman's perspective is therefore typically broader than the man's, for she is more dedicated to nurturing and healing life. What can be repressed in the female is the left hemisphere, the rational, logical, and specific ability to focus awareness. In extreme cases, this leads to an argumentative personality that is based in unreasonable thinking, consisting mostly of opinions rather than facts. The man's typical left hemisphere dominance drives the male to attempt to master nature. The man's typical left hemisphere dominance, drives the male to attempt to master nature. His increased level of dynamism and aggression makes him the preferred member of the relationship to deal with the outer world. In an ideal enlightened couple, the female is in charge of the rudder. The man rows the boat. It is typically wiser for the female to be in charge of the overall direction of the couple's life. What the man may repress is the right hemisphere, for he is uncomfortable with the feminine qualities of instinct and emotion. When developed, the right hemisphere bestows the ability to create, to feel, to love, to experience beauty. In the highest form of balance, the right hemisphere becomes for a man his muse, his inner guide to complete consciousness. The repressed portions of ourselves are typically projected onto our partners in relationships. It can be said that there are four beings involved in every relationship: the two we are aware of, and the two that are unconscious and are being projected. In the ideal state, these repressed parts, projected outward, lead to the development of the wholeness we lack inside. But when this process is blocked through damaging habits, this projection leads to a continuing series of destructive relationships, for we don't realize we are simply projecting outward our own limitations and stress. Whenever we find ourselves blaming anyone on the outside for anything, it is always because we have failed to realize that our feelings of depression and incompleteness are coming from the inside. Attempting to condemn anyone on the outside always comes back from our own lack of self-esteem and power. We feel helpless and worthless on the inside and project this outside. If this remains unrecognized, no relationship can withstand this destructive power. When we were children, many of us saw no solution to the conflicting demands of our environment other than hiding away aspects of ourselves. This hidden and repressed shadow inside never matured, but contains numerous fragments of our personality that long for conscious recognition and approval. Since we have intensely judged so much of Oh Lord, bring it back. Since we have intensely judged so much that our personal shadow contains, however, we typically would rather eat nails than look at what is locked away inside us. Like the mummy in the crypt, we just as soon, it would stay hidden and buried forever. But our shadow contains many beautiful and worthwhile characteristics that never developed because there was no recognition of them in our environment. If in our childhood there was no support for or embodied example of our natural tendencies and latent capacities, we automatically repressed a large and often the better portion of ourselves. This is why celestial perception is so rare in adults. For example, many children see the elementals, celestials, angels, and devas, but the adults in their world laugh at them if they mention their visions. In time, the ability to see is shrouded. Since the shadow represents those parts of ourselves that are repressed, its most common appearance is in projection onto others. The elements in others that we envy or hate are those parts of ourselves that we have judged inappropriately in our current universe. The shadow can never be fully repressed or forcibly removed. The only the only road to resolution is to cease judging. The only road to resolution is to cease judgment, judging yourself. The evolving soul must eventually embrace all the hidden desires, needs, and feelings within. Until this happens, the larger part of our energy will remain locked in conflicting subpersonalities that embody our repressed shadow. Until this happens, life continues in imbalance, which can be very severe. Facing the personal inner darkness takes courage and humility. A touch of faith is also useful. If we believe that we can start opening the locked inner doorways without damaging ourselves, we can start reintegrating our sundered personalities and stop projecting our judgments and desires onto others. Oh, I just got Bruce Lee cross kicked in the face with that one. I don't know about y'all. Without the natural mechanics of evolution through ascension, this can be very painful. For some of us, it takes the shock of seeing ourselves as we really are instead of how we wish or assume we are that begins our journey towards enlightenment. But whatever it takes, this recognition is required to culture true freedom. So the only appropriate response becomes not whether or not I have to begin, but how quickly can I begin? But whatever it takes, this recognition is required to culture true freedom. So the only appropriate response becomes not whether or not I have to begin, but how quickly can I begin? A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey must be taken, lest our shadows continue to warp and kill us. The time to begin is now. Fortunately, through the practice of ascension, all the repressed areas of the personality are effortlessly, harmoniously, and gracefully exposed to the infinite light of perfect understanding. This turns what otherwise can be a slow and difficult process into an exciting discovery of increasing joy. Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of chapter 3. Y'all, look at this. We done read 3 chapters of the Ascension. How do y'all feel? How y'all feeling right now? For those of you that are still here, how y'all feeling? What did you learn from this? Did anything stick out to you? And if you want to, I can drop the link if you guys want to come up for a minute and kind of just share what you took from this. I don't mind doing that because, baby, I got to grab me some water. I got these, what is it? These gummy worms over here that I've been thinking about as I'm reading. As I got toward the end, I said, oh, gummy worms, yes. So I'm a little hungry. Got the munchies right now. I got my snacks earlier. So, and my candle for Terrence is burning so wonderfully, and it's like dancing. The candle is dancing. So I'm hoping his energy and his spirit is liking that. So yeah, shout out to Terrence. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give me some water real quick, and I'm going to come back and we're going to do final thoughts, and then we're going to go ahead and close on out. Okay. But if you guys want to come up, just put yes in the comments. If you don't, that's fine. You can put your response in the comments. It's whatever y'all want to do. We just vibing tonight, y'all. But we made it. Wow, wow, wow. All right, y'all, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. Enjoy the music. I'm back, y'all. So how did y'all feel about the book? Let me see what y'all said. Baby, I ate some of these damn chips. Ooh. I can't wait to smash these chips. Thank you, Megan. Thank you, Spicy. And this is, yeah, you're right. Yes, I'm saying, like, yeah, black meat, like, yes, yes, yes. Like, it's like I mentioned earlier, as far as like a book club, I know you were saying that, but maybe this can be it. Like I said, like, one thing I'm thankful for is my grandmother. I didn't know how spiritual and metaphysical she was until after she passed away. And I remember because my parents, they live in Indiana with my grandfather and my uncle to kind of help them. My uncle's also autistic, so they're down there and they were cleaning out some of her stuff. And my mom was like, when you come down here, make sure to look at her bookcase and get these books. Baby, I took almost every book home and I've been reading books. Like I try to read a chapter a day. But this book right here is just like, I guess because of where I am in my life, it's kind of like affirming certain things about myself that I'm already manifesting in my personal life and applying to my personal life. But it also lets me know, like, okay, you can do better. You doing good, but you can do a lot better. Okay. No, I'm making this in the background. This song here, this is SWV Use Your Heart. They just put it on a loop, and I just took it and put it in GarageBand. And I kind of just changed the key. I transposed it and slowed it down a little bit. Just kind of make it a little bit different, unique. You know what I'm saying? But when this book came, it was like, wow. And where I am in my life, I'm learning to look at life like a student and to find the joy in life, like understanding that, hell yeah, you're going to experience bad stuff and there are going to be times where you're going to be tried, but reminding yourself of the power. Like, if I would have known all this when I was 20 years old, like, I could have only imagined where I would be. But the universe has me where I am now, and I'm just grateful that I at least built a strong enough foundation to stand upon on my own and see God for me. So, and people have done it for me, and I just want to do my part to kind of just pay it forward. That's why I kind of do what it is that I do. And I appreciate y'all just rocking with me and just loving me for who I am, for who I'm not. Um, and that y'all feel comfortable with me. And I really appreciate that because I really do believe in community and I believe in helping other people. Like I said earlier, it's a lot of death and destruction and low vibrating stuff, like shootings every day, and they're getting worse. So many different experiences, so much fear. And it's kind of like we have to remind ourselves of who we are. And the only way that we can do that is through knowledge. Once you know better, you absolutely will do better. But Megan says, my takeaway is knowing that you have to recenter yourself and knowing that only self can remove self. Exactly. And we live in a world now where this knowledge, like, I'm grateful that we're becoming more aware of what's happening. Like consciousness is growing. And it feels good to be surrounded by people who understand what's going on and is learning to not resist the flow, because what you resist is going to always persist. So learning to let that go and to go with the flow. It's like learning to believe and know that everything is working for your good. And in order to do that, you have to recenter, you have to align yourself. You have to, and you can. There is nothing that you're experiencing, you have ever experienced, or you might experience in the future that cannot be changed. Anything and everything is possible, but it requires you. And like I said, we live in a world where everybody wants the outside world to validate them, to where they will go to such extreme lengths to do that, to destroy their bodies, to destroy their sanity, to destroy all these things to be loved, when they can just accept that they're loved right now. And it's so crazy. Like, I remember I had watched this one video, and we get to a place to where when something happens and it seems too good to be true, we demonize that, because it's a part of us that feels like we ain't worthy of it. But once we start realizing we're worthy, when things that we want to manifest in our life consciously happen to us, we get excited And it's like, wow, if I can do this, I wonder what else I can do. So it's kind of like learning how to look at it from a different perspective. But that's absolutely true, Megan. You have to recenter yourself. And you have to realize that can't nobody do the work for you. Shout out to Iyanla Van Zant. She said, look, y'all done drove me, I ain't gonna say crazy. Y'all drove me out of alignment. So now I got to sit down somewhere. And like Iyanla said, I can't fix your life. I can give you the tools necessary, but you have to be the one to do it because it's your life. I don't know what's going on in your head. When we get off of YouTube, I don't know what's going on in your own personal, unique reality. You're the only one that's with you 24/7, 365. If there's any person that you should know more so than anybody else on the planet, is you. And once you start doing that, that's when you can live life fully and abundantly. I don't know. We might air. It depends on how I feel because these edibles kind of got me going. This flow and stuff. I kind of want to eat, so I have to let you know. Spicy said, there was a part where he mentioned how our parents are just human beings, not some perfect all-knowing creatures. I was just having that saying exactly, like, even with me being LGBT, like I said, eventually I want to do I probably do a live with my family so y'all can ask some questions and stuff and see it in real time. But even with my father, when I came out as being same gender loving, like, he reacted the way that he did, and that scared me. That scared me because it's like, I'm your son, and why would you look at me differently? But see, he was also worried about what other people were going to think about him not being perfect, because he had this idea in his mind that he wanted to keep up, and having a gay son would distort all of that. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to a place where you love yourself, do you realize that people are human beings and you don't take it personal? You don't take it personal. There is a way that we can get to a space where we don't take it personal, or we can remind ourselves not to make it personal, because we human, we gonna slip up. Like, once again, the book just said not to judge yourself, but not judge yourself in a way like, oh my God, I'm finna burn, oh my God. No, just be like, you know what, I was wrong, I'm sorry for that. Okay, let me go ahead and take a step backwards and just go another direction. You don't have to be so dramatic. It can be easy and it can be simple. But see, we have to unlearn all that, because like it was mentioned earlier in the book, when children come into this world, they're fresh from God. That's why they know their needs are going to be met. And they react and respond however they want to respond, until the adult who has been here projects what their experiences are onto their children. And because the children, and you'll learn it in chapter 4, how when it comes to being dependent on others, we need to learn to let that go once we reach puberty. Because when puberty happens, we're learning to stand in our own way, and we haven't been taught to do that. So it's all about learning those things. And all you can do is learn. All you can do is learn. Making it, and again with children, knowing that they are too, yes, they too are human beings, and not just here to succumb to the thoughts of their guardians and so on. Exactly. Like, no tea, no shade, but all facts. Y'all know Auntie Comedy, Auntie Nita. If you tuned in to Nita's TV, come watch me, baby. I love her videos. It's absolutely hilarious how she be acting, girl. But it be like, I be thinking to myself, there are literally parents out there who literally do that to their kids. They were abused and misused when they were younger, and now that they're the adult and they're the parent, now it's my turn to do what was done to me to you. And it creates a generational curse. I think there's a scripture in the Bible, and once again, I don't agree with the personal opinion. I don't agree with the organized religious interpretation of it. You know what I'm saying? But the way that I interpret it and that I see it, and how it's been said, there's a scripture where a lot of parents use, where the Bible says to honor thy mother and thy father so that you could live a very long life. But there's also another scripture that says, parents, do not provoke your children to anger. So there's a responsibility on both parts. And conscious parents, or parents who are growing in consciousness, understand that we're bringing another consciousness here, another divine expression of God to express itself however it wants to. And that also means that child expressing itself in ways that society may not agree or understand. And as a parent, you have to work through that with love. And I get it. There is no perfect parental handbook, but you can't go wrong with love. And when you love yourself, you'll be willing to, in the midst of your confusion, in the midst of ignorance, in the midst of fear, in the midst of the unknown, that you will go through it to understand it. And that's all that we can do. But once again, like the book said, baby, you get to choose and do whatever it is that you want to do. If you don't want to do none of this, you don't have to, okay? Ain't nobody pressuring you, okay? But once again, whatever you do, one thing that you cannot escape, is accountability, girl. And the universe is about that life, okay? I'm just saying, you thought you was? Nah. Yanni said, conscious and gentle parenting shouldn't even be a genre. That should be parenting in general. Yeah. That is absolutely true. I agree with that. And I feel like that time is happening now, especially a lot of Black families. Because a lot of times we would discipline our kids, and don't get me wrong, ain't nothing wrong with discipline if it gets to that point, but not in a way to beat your child like you let it all out, but a way of correction, because it's like the universe is going to do worse to you. But at least help them understand what's going on in life and how they can find their own way, and then to love and cultivate your child however they decide to express themselves. And especially with Black men being able to grow up and to be fully Black men in reference to expressing both the left and right hemisphere of their brain. But that's another video. Yanni also says, a lot of people have no business raising and influencing tiny humans. Yeah. It's a lot of, and unfortunately, sometimes those tiny humans can be so done with life that they can hurt themselves and hurt other people because of what they've been through. Remember how this book just said in the beginning, how one person can change the world, how one thought can change a lot of things, how one person can make a choice that affects so many other people in deeper levels. You know what I'm saying? But that's why it's people who will always in the world as well give a different variation of perspective of life that's more loving and more supporting. And I don't care what nobody says. The most coldest person, jaded person, miserable person, angry person, evil person is a person who simply is just devoid of love, or is under the illusion that they can't be loved. I'm telling y'all, love transforms, and I'm just speaking for me. You got to experience it. Spicy said it's all about extending grace to one another, and especially to our. Exactly. We have to be kinder to ourselves. We can't be kinder to other people if we're not kinder to ourselves. We gotta treat ourselves good first. That's why I'm so glad my life is manifesting in a certain type of way, even though I know challenges and changes will come. Because like I said, baby, I have the opportunity to wake up every day and decide what it is that I want to do. And there are other people I'm connected to that's doing the same thing, and I want other people to do that as well. Like all we have is time, and we don't know how much time we have. And a lot of times as we go further into chapter 4 and beyond, they mention death. And like I've said before multiple times in my lives, death to the ego is like the finite thing. It's the last thing, and the ego will flip out, because that's the one thing that the ego cannot control. And if the ego can't control it, baby, it's gonna have a temper tantrum. But once you work through that temper tantrum, once you work through that overwhelming fear of something happening to you that you can't control, that will end everything, that will happen to people you love near and dear to you, and you don't know when, after you deal with that part and you sit in that and you accept it, and like it says, to express all the fears. If a child done fail and cry, guess what? It's gonna cry, to let that out. But once you work through it consciously too, because you can still go through the human motions and still coach yourself through it. And once you do, all that you realize is that you only have time, and you don't even know how much time you have left. So now every interaction that you have is going to be worthwhile. And like my father would say all the time, shout out to my dad. He used to say all the time, be careful how you treat people. Okay? Be careful how you treat people. Because you never know how they'll be an angel in disguise when it comes to you. You don't know if you're entertaining an angel. You don't even know if you're entertaining your own blessing. And to treat people the way you want to be treated. It's one thing to hear it and people be like, oh, that's cliche, oh, that's lame and all that stuff, girl. And there's people in the world who actually applying that and living their best life and helping other people do it too. And guess what? The love that I'm sharing right now, it don't cost nothing. Something so priceless is given to us freely. The only people who stand in the way of receiving it is us. We stand in our own way. That's where we mess up at. We stand in our own way. Get out of your own way and let the blessings happen because you deserve it. And the universe gonna send you your blessings too. Because trust me, the universe ain't gonna just send you trials and tribulations and oh my God, Lord, I'm tired of the rain. But it's gonna bless you with some things too. Are you gonna be willing and open enough to actually receive it? Yanni says, I'm so grateful I'm raising my children away from what I grew up in. Even over the phone, the MFs are tight. And see, and you are protecting your child's energy and you're teaching your children to think for themselves so that when they go into the world, because there will come a day, and just being factual, where Mama Yanni is not going to be around. And the fact that you're raising your children consciously means that, look, in the words of Beyonce, find your way back, find your way back. It's a big, big world, but you got it, baby. Your soul asked to come into the experience as my son, as your mother, as my daughter, as your mother. Do it, Yanni. I'm proud. Yes, come on. That's why I love our people becoming more knowledgeable and willing to be the change. Because see right there, Yanni, you're breaking generational curses right there. And I'm so proud of women like you and like Megan and all the women in the chat and all of my brothers in chat. I'm proud of y'all because it reminds me that, first of all, I'm not alone. And second of all, that there is a community out there, baby. And all we got to do is put ourselves out there in love and we will naturally attract what we need, okay? Energy can come through any which way. Okay, let me tell you right now. I love everybody I do. And my phone be ringing off sometimes. But sometimes if I don't feel like it, I look, I love you. I'm sorry, but I ain't going to be able to do it today. Look, maybe this the universe way of telling you, girl, learn how to do it yourself, girl. What that book say in the beginning? A true teacher is going to help you learn some stuff. And okay, go ahead and go. Live your life. Because I still got to live my life, baby. I ain't here to help you all. I ain't here to help you all the time. I'm here to help you for a limited time only. Get your knowledge, get what you need to get, and get on. Amen. You can come visit me. But live your life because I'm living mine. Amen. Megan says, they be thinking they on video chat with her. Whole time we got on headphones and the phone not facing her. Okay. All right. We'll play the game. Child, sometimes you got to do what you... Okay? When you really do your self-work and work up to truly liking yourself, you view the world very... Yes, because you start seeing yourself in the world. You start seeing yourself being happy. You see yourself being included. You see yourself being abundant. You see yourself being loved. You see yourself receiving. And every single one of us is worthy of it. But like Yanni said right here, y'all, in the comment, if you look, once you do it for yourself, baby, it's a whole new world, okay? I learned to really notice that trash people truly think, okay? It be some energy. Sometimes if you can sometimes get sick, but like I said in the book, if they energy trash, look, that is not your responsibility to deal with their energy at all. That's their energy. Check your energy. I'm gonna check mine. All right. come through with the amens. All right. All right. Let me putting extra kids on me. Oh, no. I'm sorry. I ain't meant to put no extra kid. I'm sorry. My bad. I meant to say, I didn't know if you had a son or a daughter. I was like, okay, how do I balance this? Okay, one. All right. She said one baby. She said, Bubs, something happened to me because you talking about multiple babies. I'm going to be hitting you up in the Cash App requesting $450 for Pampers. Oh, Lord. My phone is automatically on schedule. Do not disturb. I don't even get any notifications on my phone unless it's a text from my spouse, a baby monitor, or a cat. Okay, Yanni, amen. I look at the phone and I will just hit the button. It won't vibrate. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Amen. Yes, you got to protect your peace out here. But y'all, I thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. Y'all rocked with me. Oh my God, for like 2 hours. And this was like spur the moment. And I really enjoy this. Like, I'm definitely going to have to come back. Now, I already did 3 chapters. I said I was going to do a chapter a day. So I guess I didn't read for 3 days. Okay. So I might do that. But I enjoy, these are the time, Lord, these are the type of conversations that I really want to have. This is where my true purpose is. Like, I'm learning from my own experiences, even before 2018. And I'm going forward, just connecting with other people who are willing to be open and honest. You know what I mean? And this is walking by faith. And it can be scary sometimes. It can be jarring sometimes. It can be, overwhelming sometimes. I'm not going to hold you, because it'd be like, okay, all right. Sometimes you may feel like you can't make it through. But let me tell you something. It's about your consistency and you being persistent in it. And as we go further into the chapters, it will make sense. We will start to talk about some of the ascension techniques. I haven't even read past. What chapter am I on now? Personally, I'm on chapter 7. So I'm not going to read it further by myself. I'm going to read it along with you guys to get my initial reaction. Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Eventually I'm gonna have to purchase StreamYard, and hopefully I'll be able to have more options with my mic to make it sound more podcasty. I have a naturally deep voice and I kind of have like this rasp thing going on, but hopefully I can be able to get this to sound more podcast style. I'm trying the best that I can. But I'm so grateful that you're enjoying it. Thank you. And this is a compliment. Like, I want to do this. Like, this is a video that you can listen to while you're sleeping, a video you can listen to while you're doing something, you're driving. Like, this is meant to be put on in the background. Like, it's to hit your conscious, but to also hit you unconsciously too. Okay, so I'm definitely going to come back and I'm going to do this again. Today is Saturday, so I might have a little thing going on Tuesday, so I'll probably say, if anything, I might do a live Wednesday or Thursday of next week. Okay. The spirit might lead me to do it earlier. I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to give y'all that time slot and see how that works. But I do want to be consistent with this. It'll at least help me be consistent on YouTube. And it not just benefits me, it benefits other people too. So, also, somebody's birthday coming on the 22nd, and or you know what I mean. So if you feeling charitable, if you feeling like you want to bless the kid with something, you can hit a boy in a Cash App. Okay, Cash App $ BubzDaGawd. If you want to, I ain't gonna force you. Okay, I'm just gonna put it out there. If you feel like, if the Lord tells you do it, then do it. If it don't, that's okay. I'll take your birthday wishes. But if you want to bless the kid, okay, because at the kickback I'm having for my birthday, it's going to be a plug there. And baby, I'm going to try to get as much stuff from that plug as I can. Okay, do you hear me? Edibles. And listen, if you feel compelled, that is. But anyway, thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. I'm so grateful that y'all came through. Thank you for the love. Thank you for everybody who came into the chat, who stayed in the chat, to the replay gang. Like, shout out to y'all. And once again, if you want to purchase the book, you can. The name of the book, I'm trying to find it again so I can pin it for you guys. The name of the book. Where is the name of the book, Bubs? Where is the name of the book? I'm gonna be mad if I gotta type it all over again. I'm gonna be mad. I feel like I passed it. Hold on. Let me go back. Oh, Jesus. There we go. It's called Ascension by MSI. So if you want to go ahead and read further, if you don't want to wait and you want to get your own stuff together right now, then I would suggest that book. And if you do buy it and you do read it, let me know your thoughts in my DMs on Instagram. Like, let me know what you think. If you want, maybe you guys can come in on future read-throughs, and you can share your own personal opinions up here with me if you want to. It's all on you, no pressure. We free flowing over here, okay? But once again, thank y'all so much. You guys made this absolutely amazing, and we definitely doing this. So yes, thank y'all. And until next time, everybody, peace and love. And like my father would always say, what the mind conceives and the heart believes, the hand will achieve. Y'all have the power to change right now. It ain't got to be the next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next year, next decade, century. You can change right now if you want to. And you have the power to. It's up to you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. Have a good Friday. Is it Friday or Saturday? Lord, this week good. Have a good Saturday. And I will see y'all again soon. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all for coming through. If y'all enjoyed this live, make sure y'all hit the like button. Okay, make sure y'all also share. Yes, if you want to join us, a shorty, come on, subscribe. Okay, and then follow me on Instagram where I kind of do like my daily stuff. So I'm gonna let y'all know right now I'm all over the place. I'm being nice. I ain't saying being nice, Jesus. I'm being calm and spiritual now, but y'all already know I'm ratchet. I am spiritually ratchet. There's a time and a place, because you know I will read this stuff, but also will cuss you out. Okay, all right. I'm just gonna be honest where I'm at. Okay. But yes, make sure it's your Cash App in your bio, or it's in my bio. No, it's not in my bio on Instagram, but my Cash App is. I'll put it here. Come on, you. Hold on. This is my Cash App. Everything, everything is BubzDaGawd. Thank you. Oh, it's in the description. Y'all, I told y'all that Andrew Caldwell's spirit is gonna be falling on me, and me with this weed and stuff. Y'all know sometimes BubzDaGawd kind of be on some other stuff. I be spiritual. I be in between realms and stuff. Sometimes the in between time be like, what? Ooh, Lord, Jesus. Thank you, Brenda. Hey, I appreciate y'all. Like I said, y'all look. The fact that y'all showing up and y'all spent 2 hours and almost 15 minutes with me is enough. Like, y'all presence is enough. Like, y'all make this worthwhile. And once again, it's sharing the information, the knowledge. I'm finding my tribe, and my tribe is finding me. Because like I said, the stuff that I'm doing in my life, you see that face right there in that thumbnail. Usually when black people do this, when they see people singing, that means, oh my God, you are singing down. They touching your spirit. That's how I want the universe, and the universe is going to hit my spirit. I just want to be just sitting there like, Lord Jesus, Lord, thank you. Wow. Just, oh my God, wow. This too? For me? All this for me? Like, that's how my life is going to be. Okay? And your life can be the same and be better than mine, baby. Look, use my stuff as a foundation. Okay, build upon it. I want y'all to be the best people y'all can be. Once again, y'all are already aware now. Y'all are aware right now. So use that awareness. Bubs, I can't believe you're almost a June Gemini. I'm on the cusp. I'm on the 22nd. I'm on the cusp. So I got a lot of stuff going on. I think, what is it? My sun is Cancer, my moon is Scorpio, and my rising, I think, is Aquarius. So it's a lot of stuff, just an amalgamation of just some craziness going on. Yes, man, I gotta put the come on, Roki. Roki said, look, I got a responsibility and I'm gonna do it, okay? And you on the 24th? That's when I'm having my kickback on the 24th. Y'all gonna see Aaron, Lord. You might see Sean. Sean said he might come through. Y'all might see Miss D. Rashawn because I invited. It's like a small little intimate kickback. I don't want a whole bunch of people, but just kind of like a little kickback chill and stuff like that. We're gonna be outside in the backyard. You know how black people do. Got a little bonfire thing going on. We're gonna have the plug in that's a friend of mine. So the edibles and the nickel bags and all that stuff gonna be flowing and stuff. We're gonna have some drinks in there, so we're gonna be flowing. Like it's gonna be really, really chill. And we're just gonna just enjoy each other and just help me celebrate 31 years on this earth. Baby. I'm 31 years old and I'm still 5'2". I was like, Lord, can I at least be 5'5"? Jesus, at least I'm 31. And they say you get shorter when you get older. So I'm gonna be 5 foot, Lord. You're gonna take 2 feet away from me, Jesus. Oh, he said Gemini gang. It's still y'all season. We gonna let y'all do y'all season. Do your thing. Do your thing. Oh, yeah, I'm a super hoe. Super saver hoe. I'm a super all that. Okay. Yes. You tall and spit. You Megan. Okay. I'm tall. Like, what's his name we interviewed, baby? Jay Amore. 7'8". That's me in spirit, baby. I'm a whole Nephilim in the spirit, okay? Yanni said weed and chips and gummies, okay? Weed and chips and gummies. Do. Let's blow it up. Let's roll it up, okay? All right. And then my sister and her girlfriend and stuff. Because, me, I'm a pretty simple dude. Like, it don't take a lot. The fact that people come in and rock with me, that's cool. They was asking me, well, what do you want to have to eat or whatever? And my sister said some basic stuff like, well, how about hot dogs and hamburgers? I was going to say yes, because it's like, look, as long as people eat, it's cool. Then her girlfriend was like, this your 31st birthday. You got to be grand and stuff. I said, okay, well, then y'all put the meal together. Y'all put together the shit. So I might be having shrimp and shit for my damn birthday. I don't even know. I'm going to be excited, though. All I know is I'm going to be eating down. Now, here's one thing, and I'm going to go after this for real. I'm going to be tipsy, but I'm not going to be drunk. Okay, I don't like being drunk. I don't like being sick. I like having control of certain things, but I feel like they're going to try to get me drunk, so I'm going to have to pray. But as far as the edibles and stuff, oh, baby, let me tell you something. I'm going to be all right, okay? My eyes going to be so low. It's like, are you sleeping? Are you sleepwalking, Bubs? Mm-hmm. And the Lord is telling me to do it. Amen. We're going to bring this song right back a little bit. Here we go. Yes, I'm going to enjoy myself. So shout out to shout out to everybody for real. Shout out to y'all. Not you. Hold on, y'all. Okay, see, this is what happens. See, whenever I get ready to go, y'all start showing out in the comments. Now, with nobody, I'm just playing. Yes, I'm gonna sing it out. Y'all know me. That's my song. I'm gonna play that on my birthday. Legs in. And if Sean come, I'm gonna say, Sean, twerk. Body. It's my birthday. Yes. You gonna be drunk in the woods on your birthday? Okay, Roki. I was thinking the same thing. Ain't this how horror movies start? They say black people go first. I'm just saying. And it's on a Friday. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I might be doing the wrong thing. He might be saying his birthday on June 10th and not yours, Jan. Okay, it's time for me to get off the line. I can see this Andrew Caldwell spirit trying to come through, and you're not finna do me like you did yourself on a Bad Boys Club. You ain't finna talk all this mess and then be leaving. No. Anyway, thank y'all. I appreciate it. And until next time, everybody, peace and love. BubzDaGawd signing out. Bye.